What's up, weirdos? Welcome back to another festive day on my channel. My name is Felicia, and if you haven't yet, please do subscribe. Today we're talking about Krampus from 2016, which was written and directed by Michael Dougherty, who is responsible for one of my favorite horror movies of all time, Trick or Treat. Here we are at another Christmas horror movie that I am so mad at myself for not seeing earlier because it was incredible. I loved it. It's like sort of my perfect horror comedy. What is the word I'm looking for? What is the word? It was a delight. It was a full delight to watch. I was laughing out loud for most of the movie. It was also cool because for the first like 20 minutes, you didn't even really feel like you were in a horror movie. It felt like more like a classic holiday comedy, if you will. The opening scene itself just had me like rolling laughing before any plot points had even dropped. And it was the slow motion Christmas shopping battle scene that was just like so specific and epic. I was like, yes, yes. We eventually meet our family who in the holiday spirit is classically at each other's throats, and our main character Max, who has written this letter to Santa. He's being made fun of for it, and little dum-dum Max rips it up, throws it out the window, and calls upon Krampus accidentally so we can get this horror movie started. First, I'm gonna roll through some things I'm just fully obsessed with. One is Krampus and his little Christmas minions. They're all so cool. Krampus himself is like amazing. Like his silhouette is really, really cool. His horns, everything. The only thing I don't love about him is his face can't really express much. It's sort of like stuck in one thing. But overall, like him and all of his little creatures, which I will talk a little bit more about later, are just like so cute and gross and awesome. Another thing I loved about this movie was the family dynamic. Like even though it's a horror comedy, no one was like a shallow character. Everyone pretty much had like some sort of depth. They had real relationships going on. They had real family problems going on at the start of the film. I mean, Toni Collette is in this movie, and when Toni Collette is in a movie, you know it's gonna be good. And throughout this movie, a lot of the characters go through big changes and real like life realizations and get their own moments to be like badasses and fight against this ancient demon. But let's just say it doesn't really go very well. I'm also casually obsessed with the German grandmother. She's just like so sweet and is making the cookies and is like the only one that knows what's going on. And if anyone had listened to her, they wouldn't be in this mess in the first place. But anyways, I just loved her. Now, let's get to some ratings. So for the scare, I'm giving it a 2. I didn't really find it scary. I was just laughing the entire time, but in a really wonderful way. Gore, like none. Like there's a lot of violence, but this is a PG-13 movie, and that's also fully represented in the gore. You do see some people getting eaten and stuff like that, but it's not that bloody. Cheese, the cheese gets a 4. It's pretty cheesy, and the script gets cheesier and cheesier as it moves on. But I really don't mind. I sort of loved it in this movie. It was awesome. And overall, this movie gets a 5 for me. These Christmas horror movies are killing it. I loved it. Like, no, it's not a super scary movie, but I had the time of my life watching it. And now let's move to some more specific spoilers. So there's not actually a lot of death in this movie, so I'm just gonna sort of talk through my favorite scenes. One was the slow motion gingerbread attack of Uncle Howard. Like that sequence was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And then of course his dog comes and saves the day and eats the gingerbread creature. But it was just so funny. Also, those gingerbread creatures remind me so much of Shrek. It was like Shrek meets a horror movie. It was just perfect. My favorite monster was definitely the Jack-in-the-Box because he was so weird. He was like so big, his body was like so long and worm-like, and then his head was like very like creepy cute, and then he had this like massive expansive jaw with all these teeth, and I was like, yeah, like that is a weird creature. I was all about it. Also, one of my favorite non-horror scenes was when Max's letter got read at the table and he was so upset, and then he had to fight the guy. Like I literally teared up while that sequence was happening, and I was like, oh my god, like I really care about this family, which makes for like an amazing movie. So good job with the heartstrings. And that's it, y'all. Out of all the movies I've watched so far, I honestly think this is my favorite. I had such a great time watching it. If you've seen it, let me know down below what you thought, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a nice screen. Bye!